So now let's talk about vertex painting and also weight painting. Um, a thing to note is when a mesh is made, it's made of a bunch of different little components like polygons, faces, edges, and vertices. Well, vertices can also store information on them. Very simple information, but enough information like when you're animating, it handles rotation and position, as well as also handling things like color. It can only handle 5 different colors, but it can handle color pretty well. It naturally handles RGB and then black and white as well, or alpha as well. So it can hold all this information upon each vertice, and then you can use it later on for whatever you need. Well, this is going to use vertices in a different kind of way when it comes to texturing. So I'm going to go and create a new material here. No, not blueprint, material. And we're going to call this one prop underscore vertex underscore mmat. And then what I'm going to do is let me grab 3 different textures. Let's see. Let's grab some moss, some basalt, and we can actually grab those normal maps as well. Let me grab concrete. I'm going to pretend that's going to be snow this time. We're going to bring these guys in and let me start separating them. So let me set each one's going to be like this. So this is our moss. The moss is going to be on the top. Basalt is second. And then our concrete is last. Now, what we need is a special type of node known as a vertex color node. And this takes scene information, in our case, scene information from a mesh, and applies it as a way to mask out certain areas by painting these 5 different colors. So what we do is we're gonna have 2 different lerps. So for actually no, we're gonna do 3 different lerps. So our first one is gonna be this one, and we are going to apply the red channel to it. And then we're going to put the lerp in here for our black channel. And then we're going to apply the basalt into the white channel for the lerp. And then we're going to apply our green channel. And then we just apply the blue channel. And then do the same thing here. Have them all set up like that. And then boom. And then let me also do the same thing for this guy as well. Come in for our red channel. Do that for green, and then do that for blue. Then let's apply the normal map, then hit apply. Okay, so next what we're going to do is let me go and go back to our material. No, that's starter materials. Now let me grab that vertex mat. Let's create an instance. We're going to call this one boulder underscore vert underscore imat. And I'm going to drag it onto our boulder. And as you can see, there's actually some vertex information already on here. You can see that some of it's already been painted a bit. So what to do next is just like what we've done with landscapes, you go up to this mode section, and here you actually go to your not foliage, your mesh painting, sorry. And then what you'll do is you'll select whatever object you're going to use, and that's going to be handled through this one. You're going to have 3 different types of slots. This is our color. This is for weight painting, and then this is for texture adaptable painting as well. but we're only going to handle these two guys for the time being. So once you select your mesh, you go to the painting section, and let me go and turn this color viewer, and let's view our RGB channel. So as you can see, we have a bit of black color, we have some red, and then we have some green. So let me change this down to black, and let's fill just like how you normally would. So everything here is black. So let me turn off RGB, and you see that it's our moss, and that's because inside this material, it's basing everything off of whatever your last one and whatever your first one is. So with RGB, you're going to have a naturally a white color and a black color as well. And in that case, whatever's going to be black that's right here is going to be whatever the first lerp black is. And then whatever the last white lerp is going to be for your white color as well. So let's go back here and let me kind of just change this over to red. So you just go on here and you just do a left click and you can start painting. So we already have our moss, that's our red channel. But if I go to RGB, you can see that I'm painting red. If you hold the shift button, it erases. So it's using this other color to handle erasing and stuff. And you can actually even go in and change things. Like maybe you only want to paint only a certain channel for whatever reason. Like say you don't want to change your color. So you can just go back to white and you're only painting whatever's going to be on the red channel in this case. Actually, it's actually acting up a little bit. There we go. Now it's starting to work a bit. And then let's just go back and let's do our green channel as well. Throw some basalt back on here. Now, there's one big limitation when it comes to vertex painting. And let me go back to our select mode and show you. So I'm going to grab a cube. Let's throw this in. And I'm going to grab that same boulder vert mat and plug it in here. You're going to notice right off the bat that it's not going to have any of this information on here. And that's because it's per instance, in a sense, when it comes to materials. So you can apply one material, but then the vertex painting itself is going to be unique to the specific material because it's saving the verts from that material itself. And so let me go and start painting on here. I have our mesh selected. Now let me start painting. But you're going to notice that I can only paint certain areas. And that's because there's only a couple vertices on here. So if I go and show our wireframe, let me go to buffer visualizations. I should just do brush wireframe. You can see you only have a couple verts here and there. So the limitation is when you do vertex painting, you can only use whatever vertices is there. So if you're using like a modular kit, you have to make sure that there's enough vertices to handle the painting, or else it's going to look very kind of low poly uh, in this like painting method. So that's vertex painting. So let me save this, and then let's go and talk about the next one, which is weight painting. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to change this to weight. Make that little fix at the back. Get rid of the one. Boom. So weight painting is a little bit different. Weight painting, you can handle a bunch of different textures, but it's applied in a different kind of way. So in our case, we're not going to be using the color channels. We're going to be handling alpha. Actually, no, we're going to do the two because we're not handling a second color. Essentially, what's going to happen is you take all these lerps out, and we're only going to have these two. And then let me plug these guys in. Because essentially, I'm going to show you is it can only handle one uh, color from this particular channel very well. So let me plug in alpha into our lerps for these two, plug into our base, and plug into our normal. Now let's hit apply and save. And now let me create an instance, and this one will be called boulder weight I'm at. Let's hit save. Let's select him and swap out. And you see that he's already using our first material, the moss. So let's go over to weights. Let's handle the painting. And you can see I'm already starting to paint a little bit on top of this guy. And it's not exactly how you normally handle painting and stuff. So let's go back to the material and let me show you something. So here I have whatever is black and whatever is white is how this is handled. In the weight channel, it's using the alpha channel to derive our weight information. Same thing with in a sense, the alpha is when we're doing our landscape painting. So how you handle your weight painting is just with this slot right here. The color really doesn't have to matter. Um, we're using our alpha channel, and you can apply other colors, but again, this is more for just we're handling weight painting. We're not handling anything else. So I have our alpha 2 texture set. And then what we'll do is you can actually switch between two textures, which are the two textures that are shown attached to the alpha channel. So now that I've switched to texture 2 and I'm switching this to texture 1, you can see I'm now starting to paint the moss. But then if I hold shift for erasing, it brings back the basalt texture. And that's mostly because if you let's check our alpha channel. You can see that I'm actually painting and unpainting alpha on here. Not like you normally would with, say, like this color. Oh, I accidentally selected that one. So let me turn off this. And now what I'm going to do is, since I've showed you how vertex painting is and I've showed you how weight painting is, let's combine the two. So naturally, when you're doing this, you only get a certain number of textures to handle because of this information. So you can, of course, have a white and a black. But since we're going to be using the alpha channel is going to take up one of those slots for our weight painting. So what I'm going to do is let me grab some more textures. Let me grab some cobblestone. Let me grab this other sandstone. Okay, so let's grab our lerp. So how it's going to handle is whatever we need to have a all black for our lerp. We can't just do the added lerps like um we already have our texture information. These ones would be derived from our alpha channels. So what it would do is I would grab, say, this will be for our black weight paint, and then this one would be our white weight paint. So let me start off with the white one. So we plug in that lerp that we had from our vertex painting, and it's plugged into the black channel. And then we'll plug this guy into the white channel. And then next, what we'll do is we'll plug in this guy, but not into the black channel, but to the white channel. And then this guy will be in the black channel. And then I'll plug him in. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Plug that one in. And then let me grab our textures for these two guys. And then let me plug this one in. And then finally, let's plug it into our normal map. Let's hit apply. And let me swap out this texture or this material one more time. Boulder vert. So you can see he's applying our weight one to it. So let's swap the color, or let's go back to the paint, and let me take our cobblestone back. So let me go back to our alpha, and I can show you again the color that we're using. So this is the white one, and then this is the black one once I paint again. Now let's go back to our color channel. And I'm going to make sure, one, I'm turning off alpha and I'm having our just our green channel. So I can see that when I start to paint, nothing's really changing, but that's because we haven't visualized everything yet. So let's go to RGB, and I have green shown. So green would be the basalt texture. So let me uncheck this. And you can see that that's not basalt. That's definitely not a basalt texture. And that's the big limitation that I was saying before. Because it's handling alpha channel, even though you're not painting alpha with this, it's not deriving that color properly on here. So what you have to do is you have to go back into your material, and you're gonna have to make the one adjustment of one of these guys will have an alpha slot, but then the other one, say this sandstone, is gonna be for our black channel here, because it's gonna be just not just black in the alpha, but black in general. Because we can't have just a um, since we have all these other textures, we can't have a black alpha and then a white alpha, because the black alpha is naturally just going to override every single thing. So what this is doing is it's giving us this extra node to use. So we plug him in, and then let's go back here, and I'm going to plug him into that lerp again. And then I'm just going to cut to that other one by applying this first lerp here. And then I'm just going to clean up again. Hits apply and save. Go back. And you can see, I can actually see the basalt on here. I can paint the basalt on here. If I go to weights and I hit paint, I didn't set the color right here. So let me do texture one, and the other one would be texture two. I can actually paint this over there. So we're getting that extra one. But then if I go back to colors and I actually choose our black color, I'm starting to get the sandstone. But again, the weight is actually overriding everything because of its when you look at everything, you look at the alpha channel, you'll see that it's white. So it's white. So whatever that color is going to be, it's going to override every single thing. So let me go and hit our weight. Let me go back. Let's hit paint, and then I'm just going to go and fill. And let me do texture two, fill that. Let me go back, turn off that. And now we have the black color. So again, we can go back here and we can start painting again. So let's go and grab our red, start painting that moss back on again. And then we'll go to our green, and then to our blue, and then switch to weights again, and then we'll paint again. Let me make sure I'm texturing where texture one, and then I have our cobblestone. So now we have 5 different textures applied to this single mesh without needing to go into Substance Painter, Substance Designer, or any other ones to need like blending or texturing. It's all handled through here. Normally what people do is they apply maybe some special types of textures to it. So like your character might already have like say if you're a character, your character already has his simple material already set up. Well, you can do some vertex painting, maybe apply a mask that only will paint a certain material color to it. Like say you can paint blood on a character, or maybe you can paint a dirt value over, because you know you can just adjust something like in this vertex paint. So maybe instead of doing a lerp, what it's going to do is it's taking this and you can do a multiplication with like a dirt texture, like a noise texture, and apply that, and then you can just paint some dirt on your character, or you could paint some mud or blood or something. And then you can also even paint on like some sweat or something. Like maybe your player needs to have like a sweat version or something. And then you can just paint that on the fly. But the only thing to remember is it's very hard to you can't really save that kind of information to your characters and stuff. Believe actually no, you can't save that. But I'm trying to remember the easiest way you can handle this kind of vert information to save to the character naturally is if you like go into your modeling program, and then what you'll do is you select some verts, and then you can use a vertex painting tool and paint some values here and there. And then what you'll do is like when you go into your importing settings for your mesh, you can go in and at the bottom where this is your import information. You can do here where it says vertex color import settings. Naturally, it defaults to ignore. But what you can do is you can either override, so you can override all the vertex colors with a specific color that you can choose, or replace, which takes the vertex information that's from like Maya or whatever your modeling program is, and it will import it over. So, like sometimes what they'll do, what people do is they use alpha to mask out areas where, if you have a hanging cloth and there's like motion to the hanging cloth, you can use that vertex information to say the base. There's black vertex color on there, so that's not going to move. But then everything else is white. So when you hit that, it's only going to have that spot not move, and then everything else is going to flow properly. And that is the basics of vertex and weight painting.